Hi, and welcome to Made with Carlenergy. This is episode 8. I'm Carlene. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Carlenergy. I have a blog where I sometimes post show notes at carlenergy.blogspot.com, and there is a Ravelry group under the name Made with Carlenergy Podcast. And if you do have any questions about previous episodes, I do have a episode thread on Ravelry for each episode in the group, so please do ask questions if you want to know more about patterns or yarns or anything that I talk about. So it is Sunday, October 18th, and I just got back from Rhinebeck. I was in Rhinebeck all weekend for the New York State Sheep and Wool Festival, and it was so awesome and so perfect, and I'm really excited to talk about it. I was going to maybe wait to record this episode until a little later in the week because I am pretty tired from all of it, but I do want to record while it's fresh in my mind, and I have some lovely stash enhancement, and I am already really excited to dig into that, so I wanted to show it all to you before before it turns into projects. So, this will mostly be a Rhinebeck recap episode. I don't really have too much to say about projects from this past week. I did finish my socks that I was working on to go to Rhinebeck in, so those came out really nicely. That was just some Barocco socks, spelled S-O-X, and I did a plain vanilla sock, so that's about it for those. They were very warm and comfortable. And I did finish my azalea tank top, which I had half of it seamed in last week's episode. So it's a little wrinkled now because it's been in my overnight bag for Rhinebeck, but it came out really nicely and it fits really well, and I wore it on Saturday at Rhinebeck under my flannel and my bellows cardigan, and that was my planned Rhinebeck outfit, and it all came together, so that was very satisfying. And I did finish my pockets on my bellows cardigan, and so I will say that they don't look so great from the inside. I don't think they look a little strange, but they are pockets and they were very functional. So I actually purled them because I wanted the smooth side on the inside of the pocket, and then I tacked it down a little bit and kind of sewed it to the side of the sweater so that it wasn't drooping down, which has been working very well. And I might tack it down at the bottom too, but yeah, I think they came out pretty good. I got some laddering over here, but whatever. And I could have knit them a little bit longer so that they were deeper pockets, but I just was sick of working on them, and I wanted to make sure that I got both of them done before Rhinebeck. So, and so for these, the sweater is knit with 2 strands of Brooklyn tweed shelter held together, but for the pocket I just held 1 strand and I knit the pocket on US 4 needles so that they weren't so bulky. It definitely would have been too bulky if I had used the 2 yarns held together. So I think they look great from the outside, and they look alright from the inside. And they're very functional, so I was very happy with those. And this, I just noticed, this is it was a pig, a little pig. This is the stamp to get in and out of the gate at Rhinebeck. So it's starting to wash off, but I noticed that looked weird on camera. So yes, I had this on all weekend, and I'm really glad that I did because it was very chilly. It snowed today in Rhinebeck. It was snowing. I mean, it wasn't snowing hard, but there was a pretty good shower of flurries during one point in the afternoon. And it was really magical, actually. First snow of the year. It's a little early for that. That makes me a little nervous for the rest of the winter. But it was very enjoyable to see snow and leaves falling at the same time. It was just really, really beautiful day. And uh, yeah, so yesterday I wore the cardigan over a flannel with my azalea tank top, and I had my hitchhiker scarf and a hat on and some fingerless mitts. Um, and I was decently warm. The breeze was very chilly, uh, but I was pretty good for most of the day, and it was really nice in the sun. And then today, I actually also put another pretty chunky wool sweater on under this, and so this was acting as kind of a jacket, and it was pretty chilly, and there were only a couple points during the day where I felt like that was too warm. I felt there was a point where I was in the sun for about 10 minutes, and I thought I was starting to overheat, and I wanted to take the other sweater off, but I decided to keep it on because uh, then we moved back into some shade, and it started snowing again, and I realized that I was still pretty chilly. Uh, so yes, this came in very handy. I'm glad I made a chunky sweater. Let me get a little tea. So also this week I got some business cards in the mail that I had ordered. I decided kind of at the last minute to get some cards with my podcast information on them to give out at Rhinebeck. So I just went on Vistaprint, and they had this template set up already. They had different categories, and you can pick out what you want. Let's see if you can see that. So they had this template with, the stitches and the yarn ball and everything. So I just put in all my information. This is what the back of it looks like. And yeah, I thought those were really cute. And I stapled some tea to the card to give out to at the podcaster meetups, and if I talk to anybody, and yeah, I had a little baggie of tea to give out. So that was fun. I'm glad I did that because yeah, it's just easier than trying to write it down for somebody or something like that. What else? I think that's pretty much the recap of what I was working on this week. I did start a new pair of socks after I finished these, but I think I'll just save those. I'll save talking about that until next week, because let's talk about the whole weekend. So I got to Rhinebeck on Friday morning because I was taking a spinning workshop called Spinning Boot Camp with Abby Frankelmont, who is she's a fabulous spinning instructor, and she's the author of the book called Respect the Spindle, which I own. And that's a very good book if you're learning how to drop spindle. Sorry about the shaking. So I only live about 45 minutes from Rhinebeck, although I've never been there before this weekend. But I got up and left my apartment at around 7:45, I think, and the workshop started at 9. So I got to Rhinebeck at about 8:30, and it was a very easy drive, and got into the workshop building, and they had coffee and everything set up, and got settled in for the workshop. And you get a very nice pin. I love this. This is the pin you get when you sign up for a workshop, so that you are officially allowed into the workshop building. And this is so nice because it's an actual pin, and it's a nice keepsake. Instead of just getting a lanyard or a badge, a badge or something like that, you get a nice keepsake pin. So that was really nice. And I really enjoyed the class. Abby is a fantastic instructor. She's funny, and she is very good about explaining everything in just regular terms versus all of the spinning jargon. So she makes everything very understandable, and she has very good analogies when she's teaching. And we just had a really good time. There were a lot of different experience levels in the class, which was great. Some people or there was one lady who actually had been spinning on a wheel for 25 years, but she's not very experienced with drop spindles, so she was taking the class to learn how to spin on a drop spindle, which I thought was really great. And I was mainly taking the class to kind of improve or just learn about the different drafting methods, and learn about wheels, because I do want to get a wheel soon, and I wanted to learn more about all the different parts of the wheel and the different setups and things like that. So yeah, which I felt like I did. I did get a lot of information that I didn't really know about with wheels, and I feel a lot better about trying to choose one now, so that was really good. And it was really nice because um, several other people in the class brought their own wheels, and it worked out so that pretty much every type of setup, like single drive, double drive, single treadle, double treadle, that was all there. Like everybody that had brought wheels kind of had a different wheel, so we got to go around and see all the different types of setups. So that was really fun. And we all got a bottom whirl drop spindle. So Abby gave all these out that we could keep. And I've never spun on a bottom whirl. I've only ever used top whirls, and I've used a Turkish spindle, which is right up here, which I'm sure I'll show eventually. I haven't spun with it too much, but yeah, but I've never tried a bottom whirl before, and it was tricky. It took me a while to get the hang of it, but yeah, so we were practicing with some natural combed top fiber, and then so she gave us combed top, and then she gave us some carded fiber, which is the brown. And so we got to experience the differences with those two types of preparation. And then she had a drum carder set up, so she carded some wool and silk together, which is the purple and the pink and white. So we got to see how it goes through the drum carder to make bats. Yeah, so it was just really fun and interesting. Abby is a wealth of information. She went over kind of the history of spindles, and the difference between woolen and worsted, and the reason that there's two different kind of, the reason that there is a woolen type of spinning and that there's a worsted, which I hadn't learned too much about, so that was really interesting. And yeah, I'm really glad I took the workshop. And I did get to try. I didn't try all the wheels that people had brought, but one lady had a Shack matchless wheel, and I sat down at that and practiced for a little while, and it was a really beautiful wheel. It was very smooth, and I can definitely see myself enjoying one of those. But I think for my first wheel, I'm leaning towards a ladybug. Abby had really good things to say about them, and I've heard very good things from other people. And Abby Frankelmon's suggestion was kind of going for a wheel that is by a reputable company who is reliable as far as if something breaks on the wheel or if you have a question about something. It comes with the owner's manual, and there are replacement parts and lots of people who have used them, and I think that's really smart. I would love to buy a wheel from a very handcrafted company and have a very unique, beautiful wheel, and I'm sure I will eventually, but I also would like to start with one that is more standard and has lots of users, and yeah, just a good customer service base. So yeah, I would like a ladybug, hopefully soon. Yeah. I had pretty much decided by the time that I was out of the workshop that I wasn't going to look to buy one at the festival, just because it just would have been really overwhelming, and I did want to focus my budget on fiber and yarn, so I decided that I wasn't going to buy one at the festival, but it was really good to get a lot of new information on them, so I was very happy with the workshop. So that was Friday, and my boyfriend got to Rhinebeck at about 10 o'clock that night. So so I'm totally skipping ahead. So the workshop ended at around 4 o'clock in Rhinebeck, and then the Indie Untangled trunk show started at 5 o'clock at the Best Western in Kingston. And so I headed out pretty much straight from the workshop to Kingston, and I got there at around 5:15, and it was crazy. There were so many people there, and it was so crowded, and people were just, the yarn was like flying off of the shelves, and there were some really great vendors, more vendors than I think I expected for the trunk show, and yeah, people were just going crazy, and it was like, I guess my first taste of like, this is what Rhinebeck is like, where people are just, oh, grab, grab, grab. But it was really fun to see and really great to see for all these small indie companies. And I pretty much got in there and went straight to the skeiny dipping booth because I knew I wanted to check that out. I've bought skeiny dipping yarn from Gauge and Tension in Brooklyn before, so I wanted to check that out. And then yeah, I was looking around trying to find other podcasters because we were trying to have a podcaster meetup, and oh, it was just so crazy. I ran into Shane from the Nitroversion podcast in the skeiny dipping booth, but like there was one of those grid racks of yarn, and then Shane was on the other side of it, and I said, "Hi, Shane," and I like waved at him through the grid, and then I don't know if I saw him anymore that night. I think that was that was pretty much it. I just we said hello, and we got like pushed along in separate directions. So yeah, I circled around the trunk show for a while. I saw some other friends from online, and then Kristen from the Yarngasm podcast, and Laura from the Dyer's Notebook podcast, and Maria from Subway Knits. They all got there, and oh, and I saw Tanya from the Knitting Spring podcast, which is a pretty new podcast, but it's Tanya is absolutely fabulous, and she is very good at picking yarn out. She is a very big enabler, and she has a big haul to show you, I'm sure. So yeah, we all got to sit at the bar in the hotel, and we all chatted for a while, and I met a really lovely girl named Steph. Hi, Steph. I'm so glad that I got to meet you. Steph had been watching my podcast, and so that was really fun. And yeah, I had a really good time. It was a really good preview to Rhinebeck, and I bought a lot of stuff there, which I guess I should have expected. I mean, duh, but I didn't expect. I thought, I don't know, I wasn't necessarily thinking that I would buy anything at the trunk show because I really wanted to save for the rest of the weekend. But I do have a little stash from the Indie Untangled trunk show, and I think I'll show you that now before I move on to the rest of the weekend. So first I got some great new pins. I got one from Maria for Subway Knits, and I got Kristen's, so the Yarngasm podcast, and I got this great Indie Untangled button. So that was fun. And let's see. This is all from Indie Untangled, and yeah. So the first thing I got was this skein of Skeiny Dipping, and this is her Merino single, and this is the Salt Marsh colorway, and I love salt marshes. I was a bio major in college and did a lot of research in salt marshes, so very close to my heart, and an absolutely gorgeous color. I grabbed it pretty much right away, and yeah, I had to have it. And yeah, so that's her label. I love that name, and I love her colorway names. She has some gorgeous colors, and the names are great. So her names are definitely a very convincing factor in buying her yarn. So yeah, I'm really, it's such a pretty color. And so I bought this with a purpose. There are 2 yarns that I have leftovers of from my Lumpy Space shawl by Stephen West, which I had shown on my first episode. And so I had some leftovers and decided to come up with patterns where I could use those leftovers with some new yarn from Rhinebeck. So Stephen West just announced that his new mystery shawl knit along is going to start on November 6th. So I decided that I wanted to get, I'm using some of my other Skeiny Dipping leftovers, and I wanted to get 2 other fingering weight yarns to pair with that, because the mystery shawl this year calls for 3 fingering weight yarns. So this is the Skeiny Dipping that I used for the Lumpy Space shawl, and this is in the same base. It's the Merino single. This is the Tea Leaves colorway. So I was trying to find 2 yarns that would match up with this. And then I have this yarn, which is also a Merino single, and this is by Wool & Vine Yarns and Jinx Yarns when they did a collaboration dye, and so this was called Wool and Jinx, and yes, this was a limited edition by them, and so I also used that in my Lumpy Space, and I decided this is enough to use with another fingering weight to do the Vintage Prim hat, which is a brioche hat by Andrea Mowry. So I was trying to find a yarn that would go with this. So at first I did think that that was going to be a nice combo, which it still would be. But then I found this yarn, which is a single farm yarn. It's by a Backyard Fiberworks company, it's called, and they're calling this American Wool. So this is 250 yards of a fingering weight, and this colorway is called Cumin. So this beautiful mustard cumin yellow, and I decided that I might do that to pick up that gold in the yarn, in the Wool and Jinx yarn. But things are kind of changing around a little bit. I'll get to that more about that later. So I had found this, decided that this would probably work together with something else, and I was going to wait until the rest of Rhinebeck to find the 3rd skein to do Stephen West's Mystery Knit Along. And so I had gotten out of the craziness of the trunk show, gone to the bar, was about to order a drink, and Tanya from the Knitting Spring podcast was sitting there, and she wanted to know what I had bought. I wanted to know what she had bought, so we were showing everything off. And she pulled out 3 skeins of duck duck wool in the after party colorway. And this is a 80% merino, 20% silk blend, and it's 600 yards. So Tonya had 3 skeins of this, and they were so gorgeous. And I thought, oh my goodness, that would totally work with these 2. So I went back into the trunk show, and this was the last skein of After Party on the rack. So I had to have it. Yeah. So thank you, Tanya, for totally enabling me. You're very good at that, and but I'm really glad because this is actually, I think this is my favorite skein of yarn that I bought all weekend. This is going to be gorgeous. I can't wait to see how it knits up. It's full of so many awesome colors, and yeah. So I think this is what I'm going to do for the Stephen West Mystery Shawl Knit Along for this year, and it would be my first mystery knit along. I've never done one, so yeah, I think that'll be really fun. I need a lot of tea because I'm tired and I'm running out of energy. Lastly, at the trunk show, there's a table of really awesome project bags with really amazing fabrics. And there was one on top of the stack that everybody was walking by and pointing out and getting a good laugh over. So I had seen it and admired it and walked away and was thinking about it and decided to come back and buy it. I don't know, I just decided I had to have it. And here it is. Yes, that is a almost shirtless lumberjack. On the other side is a shirtless hiker lumberjack dude and some lovely man feet and this beautiful deer print / moose print on the top. So yeah, I just love the juxtaposition of this beautiful, not risky at all fabric combined with this ridiculously awesome lumbersexual fabric. I don't know. So yeah, I just decided I had to have it. And I really like the colors of it. I mean, that was what actually had drawn me to it at first. Like, this didn't really pop out at me right away. It was this fabric I really liked, and then just the color scheme of it, and then I realized what it was. But yeah, I think it's great. I'm really happy I got it because it cracks me up, and I imagine it will be a good conversation piece. And the maker of this is, I think it's pronounced the same as the kind of a needle company, Chiagu. So she has a website and an Etsy store, and it's really well made, and it's a drawstring bag. And the inside is this print as well, and it's upside down on the inside so that when you fold it over, you get it right side out. So I thought that was just really nice, and I really wanted a bag this size, and it was really reasonably priced, I must say, for the size of the bag and the quality, so I'm very happy with it. And this will definitely be, when I start the Mystery Knit Along, this will be the project bag for it, so love it. Moving on, I guess. So After the trunk show, I went back to Rhinebeck and I checked into my Airbnb place. I rented an Airbnb for Friday and Saturday nights, and it was this really lovely place. And the owner of the home is just this wonderful lady, and we had a really good conversation. And she had two really beautiful, adorable cats, and they were very friendly, so that was really fun. And yeah, my boyfriend got into town at about 10 o'clock that night, and I was exhausted from the whole day, and he was pretty tired, so he got in, and we pretty much relaxed for a little while and tried to get some sleep. Now, we were both very comfortable. It was a very comfortable room, and we were both exhausted, but for some reason, neither of us slept very well. I mean, I think I was just really excited, and I don't know why he couldn't sleep, but yeah, I think I was just too excited for the next day. So I didn't get very much sleep Friday night. But nevertheless, we got up at about, I guess, 7 on Saturday morning, and got some quick breakfast and coffee, and headed over to the fairgrounds. And we were at the fairgrounds, I think, by 8:15. And we got in line, and we were pretty close to the gate, which I was happy about because I really wanted to get to the Loop booth as soon as possible. So we waited in line for about half an hour, and went right to Building C, which is where most of the big name vendors were. I don't know why they do that. I don't know why they put all of the like super crazy popular ones all like in the same section. Maybe that's kind of a strategy, but I don't know. So yeah, I wanted to get to Loop right away, and Into the World was right across from Loop, and then Miss Babs was like right down the yeah, like a couple booths away, and Miss Babs obviously just filled up immediately, and I wasn't too worried about getting to Miss Babs. I didn't really have a plan to buy anything from her. Her yarn is beautiful, but I just didn't want to be pressured and buy things on impulse just because of like that environment. So I wasn't too worried about seeing Miss Babs. I did go over and look at the yarn, and it is gorgeous, but I didn't really have any plans for making anything with it, so I mainly just wanted to concentrate on the fiber. So I went over to the Loop Booth first. Loop Booth. And this is the first bump I had picked out. This one is called Oasis, and this is 5.4 ounces of merino, bamboo, and tussa silk. And so, if you're not familiar, the way these work is it's this like nice kind of pre-drafted strand of fiber, and they're really just so smooth and dreamy to spin, and you just pull it out of the center like a ball of yarn kind of, and yeah. So I had seen a similar colorway in one of her updates recently. They're all one of a kind, but she does kind of use the same names for different colorways. So there was a bump called Oasis in an update a few weeks ago, and it was kind of the same color combination, just laid out a little bit differently. And I almost bought it, but I wanted to wait until Rhinebeck, so I'm really glad that she had one that was similar because I really loved it. So yeah, this lovely turquoise and some neutral creams, this nice sage green in there, and then this gorgeous yellow. So that one will be really fun. And there were many others that I could have come away with, but I already have a couple that I haven't spun yet, so I was trying to be good. But then my boyfriend was lovely, and he decided to get me this one for my birthday, which is next Friday. And so this one's called Meditation, and this one is 4.8 ounces of merino, bamboo, and tussa silk. Meditation. And this one is, very autumnal to me. And yeah, I love this one too. So we got cream, we've got a little bit of a rusty orange, and this gorgeous burgundy into some purples. I'm so excited. It's going to be so fun. So yes, those are absolutely gorgeous. And I did see another bump today that I almost bought, but I already bought 2, so and I already have 4 that I haven't finished spinning, so I decided to go over to Into the World after that. And I looked at their fiber, and I almost bought 1 braid and then decided not to. I was even in line with it, and then I decided to put it back. But then I went over, I wanted to see, they have a new line of yarn that is kettle dyed, so it's a new dye technique for them, so I wanted to check that out. And I found this one. It's called Heirloom Ornamental, and it's their Bethel sock base, which is 438 yards of a 4-ply superwash BFL. And yep, so that's. Oops. And yes, so this is Into the World. And they have a beautiful fiber line, and then they have an amazing yarn line, so they're just doing it all. And so this is some browns, maroons, burgundies, some purples, rust colors, and I bought this because I decided that I didn't know if this was quite the combo that I wanted for the brioche hat. So when I put these 2 together, I liked them together better. So I think this is what I'm going to do instead. And I think this will be more of a contrast, and I think it'll be more wearable for me. So I think this is what I'm going to do for the vintage prim hat. But I noticed when I was laying all this out, when I got home, that these 3 would also work really well together. What do you think? I could use some advice on this. So I really like that combination. I mean, I still really like this, using my leftovers, but that's really pretty too. And, well, I don't know if I'll do this because I think this would be too, like, these are too similar, but that would also work. And then I could do these 2 together, which I think would be very pretty. But I think I am going to stick with these 2 and then do these 3 for the shawl, because the after party does have a lot of these colors in it, and the whole point was that I did want to use leftovers in combination with new stuff, so I definitely want to use this and not just use all new yarns for the shawl. So yeah, I think I'm going to stick with this combo, but I'd love to hear what you think in the comments on this episode thread in the Ravelry group. So let me know. I think this is good. I do like this. So yeah, that was Into the World and Loop for Saturday morning. And after shopping at those 2 vendors, I guess I shopped around in that building a little bit more, but then we were hungry, so we went to have, we got some breakfast sandwiches and some coffee, and I guess we walked over to see the animals and make friends with some sheep, and I was keeping track of the time for the podcaster meetup at 1 o'clock on the hill, which the hill was easy to find. For some reason, I was worried that I wouldn't find the podcaster meetup and I wouldn't meet any of you, so I was all nervous about that, but the hill was pretty obvious. It was really obvious because I saw where all the people for the Ravelry meetup were meeting up. So yeah, we kind of just walked around the whole fairgrounds, checked out a bunch of other vendors up until 1 o'clock. I'm sorry. And then, yeah, then at 1, I headed up the hill and met up with Kristen from Yarngasm and Tanya from Knitting Spring, Laura from Jinx Yarns, Maria from Subway Knits. Who else? Just so many people. A couple lovely ladies came up to me to meet me and say hello. I want to say hi to Laura from she's Bella Chicks on Ravelry and Instagram too, I believe. Hi Laura, it was really nice meeting you, and I'm so glad that we were able to chat for a little bit. And I said hello to Jeanette from the Bookish Stitcher podcast. I've been keeping up with her a little bit, and so she gave me a lovely little pin. So thank you for that. And I met I don't know what is her name. And I haven't checked out this podcast yet, but it's called the Spicy Homemaker. I'm gonna look up your name right now. So yes, and then I kept looking out for Andre Sue or Andy from the Andre Sue Knits podcast, and I couldn't see her. Oh, so the spicy homemaker is Melissa. So hi Melissa, thank you so much for saying hello, and I'm really looking forward to checking out your podcast. And then yeah, I finally saw Andy across the way, and it was so great to meet her. And her 2 daughters were there, and her husband, and yeah, just everybody was so sweet, and that was like one of the biggest highlights of Rhinebeck for me was meeting everybody and yeah, getting to hang out and talk for a little bit. And I did meet Jenny of the Tiny Paper Foxes podcast too. Hi Jenny, and her husband Devin, who has also made appearances on her podcast to give photography tips. So hi Jenny and Devin, it was really good to see you, and I'm sorry we didn't get to hang out more. Yeah, they got over to the hill, and then my boyfriend and I said hello, and then we were both really hungry, so we kind of ran away after that. But it was just so great to see you, Jenny. I'm really glad that we got to meet up. And yeah, it's just, I don't even know how to describe it. It's such a wonderful feeling to finally meet all these great people in person and give them hugs, and everybody was even better in person, really. So after that, yeah, we went and got some food, and I ended up seeing Shane from Nitroversion. He was sitting over by the picnic tables, so got some food and went over and sat with Shane and talked to him for a while. And then Andy from Andre Sue Knits and her family spotted us and came over, so the group of us sat at the picnic table and talked for quite a while, and that was really, really nice. And let's see, well, I guess after that I wanted to get back over to the book vendor because I wanted to get a copy of the Spinner's Book of Fleece by Beth Smith, and she was there to sign the books, so I went and purchased one of those, and she signed it for me. Where did she sign it? So all signed and beautiful. And this is a really gorgeous book, really beautiful photos, and it goes over, I think she said 19 sheep breeds and goes over how to choose a fleece based on its characteristics, and then what it's good to spin, or how to spin the fiber to best use the characteristics of that particular wool. So yeah, I'm really excited to go through this book, and it's just got really gorgeous pictures, and it's looks like it's going to be very, very informative. So I think my goal really would be to maybe buy a fleece next year at Rhinebeck, if I can learn enough and develop my skills enough before that. I would love to spend the year learning more about spinning and getting a spinning wheel, and maybe getting some carding equipment so that I could get a fleece and wash it myself, and yeah, and spin with it. So maybe that's more of a 2-year goal versus a 1-year goal, but this book will definitely be helpful for that. And I also wanted to get a copy of the Modern Natural Dyer by Christine Vihar. She is the owner of A Verb for Keeping Warm, and so it's a naturally dyed yarn line. And she was also there to sign books, and she had a talk on Saturday and on Sunday. But when I got over to her table, she had sold out of the books, so I was sad. Oops, I had missed them. But she had said that they were going over some options for what they were going to do for people who didn't get a chance to buy the book. And she said that it was possible that some more books were going to be delivered from the city today. So she said I could be hopeful for that, or they were going to try to yeah, just figure out how to make up for the fact that they had run out. But you know, I wasn't upset. It's just I knew it might have happened. So I had already planned to go to her talk today, so I said, okay, I'll be back tomorrow. And then last night on Instagram, I saw a post by her that said that she'd be signing more books today. So I thought, oh, okay, so they definitely got more books in. So that was my first stop this morning when I got to the fairgrounds. And we got there, I think, around 11. We kind of we took it easy this morning and slept in a little bit later, and then got over to the festival at around 11, and went right to the book booth pretty much. And they did have more books, so I bought the Modern Natural Dyer, and got it signed. So there's her signature and a nice note. And this book came with extra goodies. She was putting a lovely sticker in all the books to put your name, to say that it belongs to you. So I thought that was such a beautiful touch. And then in each book she put one of these. This is a little dye kit. So this is dye that's already been prepared, and then this is a piece of fabric that has already been prepared with a mordant, and you get instructions. Basically, you just have to put it in a pot and boil it for, or simmer it for 45 to 60 minutes. And it's a mystery dye, so she doesn't tell you what it is. And in her book, she has a picture with all these different swatches of fabrics with different dyes. So based on that, we get to guess what the dye is once we dye the fabric. And she has some hashtags where you can post your results. So I thought that was such a beautiful touch. Thank you, Christine. And also, she was putting a little swatch of fabric as a bookmark in every book. So I got this beautiful naturally dyed fabric swatch. And I love this color. So, just gorgeous. I can't wait to read this. I think this is, and I can't wait. There's so many beautiful experiments in this book. And I love how she's laid it out. There's some knitting patterns in here and some sewing patterns. Excuse me. So yeah, it's really project based, which is really nice. So you're not just dyeing fabric or yarn with like no purpose. You actually have specific projects to inspire you and get you started. So those are the 2 books I bought. I'm really glad that I got some books. I could have gotten many more because before I started knitting, I was a book hoarder. I mean, I still am on a smaller basis, but I still love books almost as much as yarn. So I was really happy to pick up some new books. So I think that kind of wraps it up for Saturday. Oh, other than, so there is a farm called Point of View Farm, which I've been to before, and I think I showed you some yarn from them in a few episodes back. It's called, Point of View Farm, and they have Finn sheep, which is just a gorgeous breed of sheep. They're very friendly, and their fiber is really soft and lovely. And they also make soap from this from the Finn sheep from their sheep milk. So I got 3 sets of soap from them. So this is a double butter soap, it's called, with sheep milk, cocoa, and shea butters. And I love their logo. And so I got 3 of these, and these I'm going to be using for my knit-along as giveaways, since my knit-along is going to be a local love knit-along, and this is a very local farm to me here in upstate New York. So I'm going to be putting some prize packages together, I think, and these will be in there. So yeah, I don't know exactly what else I'll have yet, but these will be part of the giveaway. So yeah, so the local love knit along is starting next Friday officially. If you've already started a project, it's definitely still totally worthy of being entered. And so the general theme of the knit along is going to be yarn that you bought at a local farm or a local mill, or even from your local yarn shop if you are not in proximity to a farm or a mill or anything like that. But yeah, it's just all about, you know, kind of buying from a company or a small scale, you know, farm that that you can be confident in knowing where the wool came from, or whatever fiber it is. So if you have an alpaca farm or mohair goats, whatever. And it's open to spinning projects as well. I want to see some spinning projects. And yeah, that's going to be officially starting next Friday, which is October 23rd, which is my birthday. So this week I will make threads for that. I don't know if I'm going to have a finished object thread, because since I do want to kind of include spinning projects and things like that, I don't know if it'll make sense to have a finished object thread. But and I don't know if there is going to be a specific end, or what the end date is going to be. But I really want it to be a discussion, so I want to see pictures of your yarn, and if you went to the farm, I want to see pictures of where you got it. Yeah, just use it as an opportunity to learn about your local area, and if you do have any local fiber sources. And yeah, so I want it to be a good discussion about what local means to you and why you would want to buy locally, and yeah, so I will open threads for that. And I also had I had someone message me on Ravelry who wants to donate a skein of yarn for a giveaway, and I don't have all the details on that yet, so I'm going to wait until next week to tell you more about that. But yes, so there will be a skein of yarn as a prize, and I'm really excited. And if you are a yarn dyer or fiber dyer or whatever, and you would like to donate a prize to the giveaway, I would be very open to that and very appreciative. So let me know. Okay, so sorry, I wanted to make sure I mentioned the knit along before I forgot again, because it is starting next week and I don't want to forget. So yeah, those are some giveaway prizes, and I think it'll be lovely. It's very lovely soap. It smells really nice. So that brings me to Saturday night, I guess. My boyfriend and I left the fairgrounds at about, I guess around 4, and we went and took a much needed nap since we were both exhausted and hadn't slept the night before. So we had a nice about an hour nap, and then we went to the tavern at the Beekman Arms in Rhinebeck, which was a nice cozy restaurant, and we had a very lovely meal, and I had a nice big glass of wine, and yeah, so that was really nice. And we came back. I did a little bit of knitting, but honestly I was so tired that I really didn't even have the energy to move needles in my hands, so we just kind of lazed around, watched some stupid stuff on YouTube, and went to bed pretty early, and finally did sleep. We had a good night of sleep last night, which was much needed and really great, and we felt much more refreshed this morning, which was good. And yeah, I got over to the fairgrounds at around 11, and went right over and got my natural dyeing book, and I wanted to see what the leaping llama competition was all about, so we went over to the animal area and saw some leaping llamas, so that was fun. And yeah, kind of took it easy. I wasn't hell-bent on buying anything else, so I just kind of wanted to browse around. So I had originally thought that I was going to buy a sweater quantity of yarn for the Stonecutter pattern by Michelle Wong, and Kristen from Yarngasm and Lara from the Fawn Knits podcast are hosting co-hosting a knit along for the Stonecutter, which is going on now until January 1st. And I've been wanting to make that pattern for quite a while, and I really wanted to try to find some yarn for it this weekend, but and I almost bought some O-wool for it, but they actually the O-wool booth was really crowded while I was in there, and I was like waffling between 2 different colors, and I think the problem is I'm not quite sure what type of yarn and what color I want to use for that pattern yet. And I just wasn't finding anything that just immediately spoke to me as the yarn for that pattern. So I didn't want to buy it on impulse. I wanted to make sure that if I was going to buy a sweater quantity of yarn, that it was really exactly what I wanted. And I'm feeling a little sweatered out. After my bellows cardigan, I feel like I can take a break on sweaters, and I have a lot of beautiful shawl patterns lined up that I want to make. So I just ended up not finding the right yarn for the sweater, and so I don't think I'm going to be able to participate in the knit along, which is a bummer, but I know that I'll make it eventually. And yeah, I didn't want to buy a sweater's quantity and get home and decide that it wasn't exactly what I wanted. So that didn't happen, but I decided that since I didn't end up buying the sweater quantity of yarn, that meant I could buy more fiber. So I ended up going back to Into the World. And yeah, 2 more braids because I decided that I did want to buy the braided fiber that I had looked at the day before and put back. And I mean, it's just so beautiful. It's kind of a rainbow of colors, but they're jewel tones, they're very muted. Yeah, it's got all these nice teal blues, a little bit of green, reds and burgundies, very navy blue, and a little bit of yellow. And this is called Captain Tight Pants, which is fantastic. And this is a 60-20-20 blend, so it's 60% merino, 20% yak, and 20% silk. And I haven't spun anything with yak in it before, so I'm very excited to try this. And it's just, oh, it's dreamy soft, it's just beautiful. And I think this was the last braid of that blend on the rack, which might have had something to do with the fact that I decided I did really need it. The dude is very happy that I'm back. Yeah. He's been quiet so far, but I just noticed that he was talking. Maybe he has been the whole time? I don't know. But yeah, he's so distracting to me. I know that you all love him, but sometimes he really is distracting. Anyway, so then my boyfriend Alex was checking out this color, these nice grays and greens, and it's called Mithrandir, which is Lord of the Rings. Alex is a Lord of the Rings fan, so he was immediately drawn to this. And he wants some mittens, so I picked out the Corriedale for some nice rugged mittens for him. And yeah, I really like these colors too. I think this is going to be really pretty, and also masculine. I think it'll turn out to be a nice color for him for mittens. So yeah, I have a lot of fiber to play with now. And then my last purchase of Rhinebeck was from You and Me Merinos. This is a farm, I think they're in Ashland, New York. And this is a nice natural merino fingering weight. And it's about 485 yards, so it will make a nice big shawl, or medium-sized shawl, I think. And yeah, this is a nice, just a very natural color. It's very soft. It feels really nice. And I want to try dyeing with this. So once I experiment with some natural dyes, I think I want to try to dye this somehow. I don't know what color or what kind of dyes I'll use, but I wanted to get some naturally colored stuff to play around with that. So yeah, I'm excited to try that. Oh, and then this is, these are some samples that Abby Franklemont gave us for spinning boot camp. So this is from the workshop. So there's these nice bumps of different fibers. This is a silk. I think this is some combed, or not combed, this is some carded fiber. I don't know exactly what blend or what breed, but I think this is carded fiber, and then this is the combed fiber, and then some nice colorful stuff. So that's really nice. I'm excited to play with those. I love smaller bumps to play with different techniques with. So that was really nice. Spinning Boot Camp, Abby Franklemont. I think that's all. Oh, I did get it into the world button too. And these are they give you tags so that when you spin your fiber, you can put the tag on and label it with all the information, which would be really nice if I actually do that. Hopefully I will, but I'm not so organized. But the fact that there is a card will convince me to maybe try being organized about all of that. So yeah, I did have a apple cider donut today, and I had some hot apple cider, which was delicious, and I had some falafel, which was really good. So the food is also very good at Rhinebeck. Yesterday we did also go into the food building and tried a bunch of different cheeses and watched a cheese making demonstration for a few minutes and tried some wine and some hot sauce. Alex likes spicy, he likes hot sauces, and there was one called Death, something Death, Near Death. It had death in the title of it. And there's a warning label under the sample cup, and Alex said that he had seen the label, and acknowledged the fact that it was probably really hot, but he didn't read the full information, which explains that it's like 900 times hotter than a jalapeno or something like that. So, and I didn't see him try it, so I was off at another booth trying something else. And he comes up to me and he's like basically crying and his face is bright red and he's like gasping because it was so spicy. And luckily there was a booth with some bread and olive oil nearby, so we went over and gave him some bread. But I was like, hello, you saw the warning. But he was okay. He was fine after a little while, and we got some drinks and it was fine. But yeah, he came up to me with like tears streaming down his face. Well, yeah, it says near death, or whatever death, that's what it's called, so. But yeah, it was really nice to have him come up and spend the weekend with me at the fair. He's a really good sport, and he was wearing a hand knit hat and some hand knit socks. And yeah, he's good at helping me with color choices, and he likes seeing all the animals, and definitely enjoys a good meal. So it was really fun, and yeah, just I wish it could happen every weekend, although that would be terrible for my budget. But yeah, I can't believe it's over already. I'm kind of sad that it's over, although I am ready to get back to knitting and relaxing. But it was such a good time. I met so many awesome people. Oh, I did forget something. Where is it? Where is it? I know I brought it over here. Well, that's not cool. Anyway, I did get another little sample from the Classy Squid, she's a fiber artist based near Boston, and alright, I'm just gonna have to insert another video clip in this because I do want to show you that. So I will try to find it. Here we go. It had fallen behind my couch. So this is a little sample from the Classy Squid Fiber Company by a fiber artist named Amanda. And so that's her website, classysquidfiberco.com. And love her logo, so cute. So she had posted on her Instagram that she was going to be doing a meetup today, and she had some samples. So I got one of her Exploding TARDIS Rowags. And I'm not a Doctor Who fan, not that I wouldn't be, I don't know if I am, I just haven't really watched it. But I should probably check it out. But yeah, I love this colorway regardless. It's got the orange, the yellow, the white, and it's got sparkles and all these little bits of silk and different fibers, so it's really gorgeous. And I might have to spin this up tonight, or at least start spinning it. I really want to break into this and try it out. So that was so generous. Thank you, Amanda, for bringing some samples and posting about your meetup. That was awesome to meet you. And then, yeah, I totally forgot a few things to mention. One being that I did get to see Michelle Wong, who designed my the bellows cardigan, and I've seen Michelle a few times. I visited Gauge and Tension in Brooklyn, which is her yarn shop, and it's always really great to run into her, and yeah, I got to hang out with her a little bit. And then I saw the Yarn Harlot on Saturday morning, Stephanie Pearl McPhee, and yeah, I've never gone to one of her book signings. I really, really want to. I gotta see if she has anything upcoming, but yeah. So I've always just obviously wanted to meet her, as I'm sure anybody would. But yeah, so I was I was in line to pay for my Into the World yarn, and Stephanie ended up walking right past me, and before I could even like think about it and think, oh no, I don't want to bother her or something like that, I just like blurted out. I was like, "Hi, Stephanie," and you know, she said hello, and I said, "Oh, it's good to see you," and she said, you know, she's like, "Oh, how are you?" And I mean, she doesn't know me, but yeah, so. And then she was obviously like we were all. It was just lots of commotion. So she was trying to pick out some yarn. So and, you know, and I didn't try to bother her anymore or anything. But yeah, I got to say hi and got to see her, and she was wearing her Rhinebeck sweater, and so that was really awesome. That I was, you know, that I got to cross paths briefly, and it was really funny because I said hello to her, and then I turned around to Alex, and my face was, I just felt my face going bright red, and like my heart was like racing for some reason. And he's, you know, he had seen me say hello, so he asked me like, "Oh, is that one of your friends? Like, do you know her?" And I said, "That's the Yarn Harlot." And, you know, I was like, "Is she?" And he's like, "Is she a big deal?" And I was like, "Yeah, she's a big deal." So yeah, that was a really cool moment. That was cool, and I don't think I saw her. Yeah, I didn't see her um, at all for the rest of the weekend. So yeah, it was really cool to have, yeah, just kind of gotten to see her and say hello really quickly. Um, so yeah, all in all, an amazing weekend. I don't think it could have gone any better, honestly. Everything was just like really nice, and I love everything that I got, and I pretty much stayed within a reasonable budget, which is always good. And I had so much fun, and I'm gonna miss everybody. I wish that we could all like hang out more. It was so nice to get to meet some of you and hang out, and yeah. I hope it's even bigger next year, and more of you can come. So, alright, I'm going to do some knitting or some spinning and enjoy the rest of my tea and hang out with the dude and get some rest. Probably go to bed pretty early tonight. And for the rest of you who were at Rhinebeck, I hope you had an amazing time, and I can't wait to see everything that you purchased. And I can't wait to see the projects that we all make with all these wonderful treasures. So with that, I hope you had a good weekend, and I will see you next week. And don't forget about the local love knit along. I will start a thread for that, and I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. So hope you're enjoying your knitting. Bye bye.